Okay, so here I am, going to work on my garage organization, going to change everything around. So I'm going to end up, when it's said and done, tearing this apart, moving all of that to over here because there's power there and power there, shoving all the shelving in the back so there's room to get in and out of the Suburban right here. So just reorganizing everything. But I'm starting with the base of the base cabinets that I got out of the bathroom, the powder room that I'm remodeling right now. And the base I built out of some redwood 2x4. And I'll use redwood because it's in direct contact with the concrete. There could be wet in here from the vehicles. The hose is right there. I got the hose bib over there. That's why I'm not taking cabinetry all the way. I'm going to leave that little bit of space there. But I built that stand. Looks like this. And then I put these cabinets on there just like you would normal cabinetry. And I built that 2x6 stand because you got a 6-inch curb here. And then just normal cabinetry tied into the studs. You know, screwed together at its two splines on the side. I'm going to need to make drawers out of this and this. It's got drawers there, but yeah, I'll have to do that later. I'm not doing that today. The top for this is going to be this. So I've already cut them to size so they fit. And I'm going to use this dowel kit I picked up at Home Depot. So you have a drill stop there, a nice bit for it, and these little deals. So you can drill 2 of the holes there on your first board, snap those into it, and then smack them together, and that gives you your pilot point for your next holes on the other side. Lots of extra dowels for it. And I'll probably do, I don't know, probably 6 of them along in here that I dowel it together. Gluing it together with Gorilla Glue so it holds pretty much forever. Once you've glued something together with Gorilla Glue, you're only getting it apart with a saw. And I thought about whether or not to actually run this through the table saw to get rid of these divots that end up because they're rounded off corners. But what that ends up doing is it would take enough material off that I won't have the overhang I want past the drawer edges, and you'll see that when I have it finally assembled. So since it's just a workbench top and I want the nominal thickness of a 2x4, well, these are 2x6s because that's what I want. That's what I'm going to do. And you notice the dowels will help with this, a little bit of bowing in this board. It'll help suck all that up. So doing that, I'm going to have to be real careful to shove down on that to get that to disappear. But dowel them all together so they're about the same. But yeah. This is not going to be a one-day project, and I'm probably only going to show you just the making of this countertop, how you take 2x material and make yourself a good workbench top. Because that ends up, you know, 1.5 inches thick. I'll be able to, you know, on this corner, I'll be able to bolt in a nice vise. Excuse me, golly. But yeah, so that's what I'm up to today. You know, I've still got some 2x3s. Got my 2x3s for making more of those shelves. I got the 15-inch shelf board for more of those shelves. Plywood for up high. But I need to go get more 2x4s. That's what I forgot to pick up was 2x4s, which is probably fine because I'm not going to get through all of this today. Alright, enough talking. Let's get to work. Alright, so I'm going to divide it into thirds and put the dowels in. It's basically every 20 inches for what this measurement ends up being. Used one of the big drywall T-squares for it to mark all the way across. I'm going to throw some Craig screws into the mix. This ends up being the bottom. And what I'm looking for is, when I pick these off the stack, I got the cleanest, clearest, non-warped, straightest boards I could. But I'm still trying to work with what warp is in these boards. And try to peg it together with the dowels, clamp it together with the screws, glue it together with the Gorilla. I want this thing to last. And my mounting, I'm going to mount it from the underside. You got these corner gussets. I'll drill some holes through them and screw up from the bottom. I'll probably put some Craig screws into this at the bottom too, so I come up from the bottom so the top side has no fasteners showing whatsoever. This was just leftover 2x6s that I used, tied into the studs, tied into each other. And that ends up being bracing for the countertop to go all the way across for this workbench. Not taking the cabinets all the way because I want to store my basket in this corner. I will have shelves up there, so there's going to be a ton of storage in this place. I'm trying to shove all of the storage to the back of the garage so doors can be opened at the front. Those wire basket deals are going to go downstairs in the basement for storage down there. Wire shelves are alright, but not for this location. I think this video here, I'm just going to show you how I build this and how I get this installed, and we'll call it good there. Some other video when I'm doing something else for the trucks, you'll see what the rest of this looks like when I'm done, because it's basic framing. I don't know that I can teach you anything on that one. I use deck screws, 2x, 2x3s, plywood, shelf board, and I just put the system together in ways that seem good. This worked for a while, because there was still a ton of stuff crowded in the back. I cleaned this out, put these cabinets here. It makes more sense for me to do all my work here. Cabinets and everything on this side, so shifting it around. Alright, let's get back to the work I want to show you guys, how to actually take 2x material and make yourself a good solid countertop. So, next thing to do, this is an end board. That's why I got this square out, so I can mark where I'm at there on those center lines. So you'd pull them up, make your pencil mark there, and roughly find center of that, drill in, and start your doweling process. So here we go. First things first, this doweling bit, very most basic kit you can get at Home Depot. This stop deal, try to get it on this upward spline, because otherwise it freaking falls out. You don't have enough engagement there. But you noticed in that footage it slipped and came off. It's not square to the bit either, so you get what you pay for. I know they got better jigs like Craig jigs and stuff for doweling. I'm just going simple with this one. You can see here I'm doing a couple of tests, figure out exactly. I got the most of some 1¼ screws, and I don't need that many screws. I just need it to clamp it together. Dowels will hold it in place. The glue will lock it in place. And I do have some of these 2½s. So if you're doing this depth, you definitely need the 2½s to get your full engagement. Now doing your shorter screws, that'll probably give me enough engagement. I just tried the somewhere in between these two, because that's 1½ and that's like 1/2 inch. Now I'm doing 3/4 inch. We'll see this while we're looking at it. I like how these jigs, or these Craig's jigs, have a hole right here, and all your shavings will come out the top there. They just start spitting out and come out here when you actually pull the drill bit back out. But that's pretty cool design. It gives somewhere for those shavings to go so your drill bit doesn't get locked up. You just, this simple kit that I've got, you just clamp it down, and then there you go. You've got yourself a nice bit, or a nice drill in. Might get enough bite with that. And this kit came with a whole bunch of parts and pieces, different size screws, coarse and fine. One of these ones, 1¼ are the ones I have the most of. 1¼ fine. I picked up a whole other box. I was using this for joining cabinetry together, and that worked for that. So again, things I forgot to pick up. I should have picked up a box of these probably. But I'm going to make it work, because again, And I'm doing these tests. Yeah, you can point out that I could probably do them on a scrap piece of 2x6 somewhere. I don't care. It's on the bottom. I'm seeing what I've got. And I'll probably put a screw in all 3 of those ones just because I can. But I think for what I want it to do, the 1/2 inch might be the best. And I'm getting those measurements here. It shows you inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, so 3/4, 1/2 inch. I might do somewhere between 1/2 inch and 3/4, so that's so many eighths, 5/8. That might be better. Because 1/2 is a little shallow, 3/4 is a little deep. Let's split the difference between those two. That's probably what I'm going to run with when I do that. You set your depth right there. And you just push that. And you have the arrow mark right here. I think. Slide it back there, and it does have detents that kind of lock it in that position, so you got 1/8 inch increments. I think we'll go with that, and that'll probably give us the best engagement for those screws, which are the ones I have the most of. Again, these are not doing much for structure other than holding it in place until the glue dries. The glue is going to give it its real bond. And there's some tricks for using Gorilla Glue that I'll show you in a minute. Let me get all of this drilled out again. So I got to keep going with the dowels, and that's the other thing, kind of. This dowel bit gives you a really rough one, so I had to pound them in, which took the point off of this, but still the point was made enough. Those are lined up nice and neat enough, but it doesn't want to slide into those as easy as I might like. So if they'd undersize these just a hair, a 32nd, a 64th, a little bit, because that bit, that's a very, very rough bit. But yeah. If you're just doing a small project with doweling, sure, go ahead and get that kit. This is on an end cap in Home Depot is where I found it. The company's called General. If you're just doing simple stuff, but if you're going to do dowels a lot, I'd probably go look for something from Craig. General had some better kits too. I just didn't get them. Maybe Craig's got something that'll let you do doweling as well. But all right, back to it. So when working with Gorilla Glue, have yourself a bucket of water and rag. So you can wipe down the surfaces you're about to glue. When I did these peg holes, I put glue, I'm jerking you around, sorry. Squeeze water down inside those holes pretty good. Get them soaking wet as much as you can. Water helps this glue activate. And a day like today, we are seriously, so yeah, wipe it all down, make it wet. It's nice and hot and dry today. So you want to make this wood as wet as possible. I mean, not soaking it, but definitely wet it down. And then, where'd the GoPro go? Is it still filming? Yeah, still filming. We'll set this up. We'll show you what we're doing. Because then we'll run a bead of the glue down. These dowels are in. We'll drop some glue down in those dowel holes. And this water should help it soak up. Oh, it's drying out fast. So I gotta quit talking. I gotta start working. I'm gonna wipe it down one more time. there it is. There's a 2x6 countertop. Should be able to take some serious abuse. I didn't film any of this because that's just simple shelf board, shelf work. But it allows me to stuff this in better. So it's out of the way. Gives me a place for charging, place for my radio, fluids. But yeah, just organizing this corner, making it a better workshop. Yeah. Of course, the top. Yeah, we're standing on it to get it to lay flat. Problem is with the Craig joint stuff only being on the bottom side, it did want to cup and bow this way, so you got to slam it back down. This glue stuff, I'm going to let it dry for 4 or 5 days. If you catch it fast enough, you can see on these joints, hit it with some wet wipes and you can get it to wet off. There I wasn't in time, so now it's all doing that, but when it's hardened, it's sandable. So I'll take out the DA sander, erase our footprints. But yeah, I don't know what else there is to show about this. You can see that I use the dowels to kind of tie it together. And I use the Craig screws to tighten it up. And this glue is definitely locking it down. And obviously, since we've been standing on this thing, I was up there jumping up and down. Had my 12-year-old under there driving the screws in. Get it to lay down. It's not perfectly level and smooth, and that's not what I'm going for. It's a freaking workbench. If I was going to do a table, I've seen this online, 2 people taking 2x6s and making dining room tables out of them. Of course, the finish on that has got to be way more involved. What I would do to keep everything together is, I need a drill press for this. I don't have one. But take dowels and drill press all the way through all of the boards and tie them together that way. And then you wouldn't be doing your finished cut for that one either. You get your dowels in, your rough cut on here. I'd probably put one within 4 inches of the end, probably 2 or 3 more in here, 4 inches at the end, and do those dowels all the way through with this same glue. And then what would be awesome to have is a nice planer to go over it all and plane it all down nice and neat. In which case I would also probably have run it through the saw to cut off these rounded edges that come on nominal lumber, so you don't have those gaps. But that's if you're doing real, trying to make nice furniture. I'm not. This is nice and tight. I got a nice overhang here for my cabinetry. Yeah. I don't know, I'm babbling. So if you've come this far and you learned something in here, maybe you got a better way of doing it, that's great. But this is how I did it, and hopefully it helped you. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one. See you later.